What's up, y'all? It's just Randall. Welcome to my channel. Oh, my afro look flat in the middle. You know why? Because I sit my glasses up there. My glasses are always in my afro. So let's pick it out. Welcome to the channel, y'all. It's just Rhonda. We over here to get a little bit into what's on the timeline today. Did y'all black out? Black out. Everybody black out. You say you want a revolution. Well, this is how you do it. You gotta have to black out. This one wasn't, I guess, as much advertised as some of the others. I'm just doing my best to black out whenever I can. There's something on this table in front of me. Looking for something to wipe it with. Anyway, yeah, we just getting started in this holiday season. So make sure you black out, when you black out. And that don't mean, black out and don't participate. That means black out and make some changes, do things differently. Black out from these corporations. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like I said, I'm trying to do my best out here. How are y'all doing? It's Thursday. We made it to the end of the week. Did I say like the video? Like the video, y'all. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Come on in. Hit the like button. And yeah, let's get into some of these conversations that I have planned for you today. I have a plan without a plan. You know what I mean? I came over here to talk about some things. And like I said, I planned it out, but we just, there's no notes here. There won't be no page flipping. It's just me and you and these topics that I got on deck for us. So where do I want to start? Child, when you wear glasses, I'm going to say I wear glasses. It's probably time, not probably, it's absolutely time for me to go ahead and up my prescription, redo my prescription. So that's on the agenda because I feel like I halfway can't see with my glasses on, especially when it's time to be reading comments and things in the chat. So charge it to my eyes, not to my heart. I be wanting to conversate with y'all. Sometimes I can see it, sometimes I cannot. So don't let that discourage you. Yeah, let's get on into the things so we can get back to what day is it? I don't have anything on my agenda for the night. I think I want to take a bath, a bubble bath. I think I want to sit and soak before I get on in that salon tomorrow. That's too much information. What are we talking about over here today? Where do we want to start? I'm gonna start here. Get some of these things off the list of things to talk about. Florida has a couple of new governors. Candidate. Few people threw their hat in the governor's race. Who we got first? Republican Congressman Byron Donalds has officially launched his bid to be the next governor of Florida. I'm gonna tell the truth. I don't know a whole lot about this man, but he's a Republican, so that's probably, I probably looked at him in the past and said, that's interesting. Anyway, Republican Congressman Byron Donalds has officially announced that he's running to become the next governor of Florida, marking a major step in what's expected to be closely watched and highly competitive race. His entry into the governor's contest comes after years of rising visibly within the Republican Party and growing grassroots support across the state. Really? Because I never heard of the man. I'm just saying. And I'm not going to say that's bad on me because I should have been paying attention. But, rising, we ain't really be talking about him, but maybe they be talking about him over there. This is what they do. They throw somebody in our face and expect us to, just because he's brown, want to have something to do with him. You know what? I feel like I'm not sharing. I just clicked over here. Hey, Shayna, you know what I'm doing over here, making a mess of things. Um, Let me go ahead and share so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's just me sitting here reading to you. That's not fun. Let's see. Share the screen. Get it together, girl. Y'all know what it is. You should be used to it by now. But I be around these YouTube streets, and I'm not the only one. So, yeah, where did I leave off? I'm not going to start all the way from the beginning. Let's get to this guy over here that Florida's been pushing up in the Republican Party. Donald's emphasis on priorities such as economic development, strengthening education, and ensuring public safety issues, he says, are essential to keeping Florida on a strong path forward. Is it? If Byron Donald wins, he would make history as the first Black governor in Florida's history, a milestone that adds significant weight and national attention to his candidacy. As the campaign season unfolds, Florida voters will be watching closely to see how Donald's vision and platform shape the future direction of the state. Donald has endorsements from large political figures such as President Trump and Elon Musk. Well, if this is where he's getting his support from, ain't nothing going to change with this guy in office. You know what I'm saying? I don't like your people. I'm not really getting with your clique, Byron. So, I'll look into Byron and see what else is going on with him. I got an idea. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, like they threw Nicki Minaj up in our face the other day. Like we really want to hear what she has to say as it references politics. They just think they'll throw us anything and we'll take it. He's not the only one. I also feel like there is maybe he's for the white Republicans that are pissed off over there, so they think they're woke if they vote for this guy because he's brown. That ain't woke. That ain't what we want. All they had to say was his people was Elon Musk and Trumpet, and that tells me everything I need to know. We also got Omega Psi Phi. Jerry Demings has entered the race to become the next governor of Florida. Deming's been around for a long time, him and his wife. As long as I've been here, they've worked their way like through the police department in Orlando. He's the mayor now. So this makes more sense to me. And he's done it like quite scandal free, him and his wife. I don't know if like little political things come up. They try to besmirch your name when you start rising up that political ladder. But Mayor Demings has, he has some really strong footsteps to follow in because Buddy Dyer was the mayor for forever. And so now he's, running. And like I said, him and his wife both are very, very much politically affiliated. I feel like there she is. Y'all remember her. She ran for Senate and was one of the options for vice president. So let me go ahead and read this. Demings opened a campaign account for governor Friday, a necessary first step, starting a campaign for the office currently held by Governor Ron DeSantis. Boo! Politico reported last week that Demings was expected to announce his candidacy at a rally scheduled Thursday in Orlando. Demings is a well-known Central Florida Democrat political figure who's also spent several decades in law enforcement, including 9 years as an Orange County sheriff. He's married to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Sister Val Dennings, a former member of Congress who was on Joe Biden's list for vice president. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we have to consider our options. Like I said, I have not heard anything bad about him. This is a big deal, though. The Omega Psi Phi and the Delta affiliation, y'all, it's time to get information, y'all. They led with that. They led with him being Omega Psi Phi. This guy, I don't know, he's got Trump and Elon Musk as his homeboys. That's a lot of money backing him, though. So we'll see, Florida. We can only hope. I mean, if Georgia did it, Florida can too. And when you see the people partying down to the villages with Kamala Harris, Kamala, I always have to check myself with Kamala Harris posters and things, then you know, yeah, it's a shift, I would say at least. Hey, Motown investor, what we talking about? Well, we just got done talking about these two black gentlemen running for governor. That doesn't mean DeSantis ain't still gonna be somewhere around. But if this guy's being backed by Trump and Elon Musk, that's interesting. I'll be keeping my eye on that. They're just announcing that they're running, so we'll see what's going on after that. You got, who is his name? Byron Donalds as a Republican, a black Republican candidate, and you got Mayor Demings, Jerry Demings, who, like I said, has a long history here in Orlando. I live in Kissimmee. I've worked in Orlando. It gets a little bit like cloudy. You know what I'm saying? Our mayor over here, they be small town things, but Orlando is a big city in Florida. So, he's well known whether you live within his city limits or not. That's a good one. Where did I want to go next? Let's talk about this. I saw this story. When you become a grandparent, you start watching your children go through things in terms of growing their family and where the lack of support starts. Where was this? This was in Chicago, I believe. So let's go ahead and listen to it. Let me back out. We'll go ahead and listen to it.
Demanding answers from a hospital she says discharged her while she was in labor. 38-year-old Mercedes Wells says she was having contractions 1 minute apart and knew the baby was coming, but a nurse sent her home.
I was in excruciating pain. She seen me in pain and agony, and I guess she still perceived me to not be in labor.
The family sharing this video of Wells being wheeled out of the hospital. She then gave birth 8 minutes later in her truck on the side of the highway, her husband delivering their baby himself.
It's totally God's grace. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I don't have any medical license or anything to deliver a baby.
This morning, a Chicago woman is demanding answers from a hospital she says discharged her while Wells says she spent 6 hours at the hospital but never saw a doctor. She blames racial discrimination.
I was stripped of my dignity as a person because I was treated less than an animal.
Can we agree that a woman in active labor should not be sent away without first being seen by a doctor?
The CEO of Franciscan Health Crown Point Hospital responding, saying the video and the comments it has generated are deeply troubling, and we understand the concern this has raised. The video is just one part of the information we are reviewing as part of a thorough investigation into this alleged incident. The good news? The couple says their baby daughter, Alina, is healthy and doing well.
The Wells say they're not seeking compensation. Instead, they want accountability and changes in hospital policy.
Wells says she spent 6 hours at...
She need to seek some financial sue they ass. That's what I have to say about it. She looks in so much pain. That's crazy. I can see that she was in pain. It's, I don't know what this lady's plan was. I know that for my daughter, we went through a whole process before delivery. You know what I'm saying? So you go to the hospital and you find out if it's going to be a warm place for you to even go to. I'm not blaming her by any means. I'm just saying, I don't know what her plan was, but I feel like when we went to, when my daughter went to go deliver my grandson, she had already been familiarized with the place. And that place, like the hospital, again, I live in the Orlando, Kissimmee area. So there's a lot of brown people that work at the hospital. Hispanic. I said I wasn't going to say Hispanic. Latina and, other. It's a diverse environment. It's crazy that this woman was in labor and 8 minutes later delivered the baby in her car. She should definitely be looking for some type of financial compensation, point blank, and the period. Holding them accountable. He already, the director or whatever, the hospital pretty much was like, we're looking into it. That means not looking into it at all. This is not that, but when I was taking care of my mother, she broke her hip. That's what happened. She broke her hip, and she was like well into her 80s. So go to the hospital. She had dentures, and this is the day after her surgery. She's doped up on morphine. She's, when you take pain medication and stuff, it gets your stomach all wobbly. And so the following morning, she's just now getting her bearings from, a major surgery the night before. And the nurse was going to give her oatmeal, which she hates. And I feel like a lot of people, oatmeal, I eat oatmeal just fine, but a lot of people don't like the texture of oatmeal. And so I told the nurse, like, she's going to throw that up. She's not going to eat that. So she don't want to listen to me. I got to get something in her stomach. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to watch her sit here and puke. So I'm going to go and I will be back. As I was walking out the door, I remember the nurse, like, because once she gave my mother that oatmeal, here she goes with that, making that hurling noise. And so then the lady's in a frenzy trying to figure out what to do with her dentures. She had dentures in the top, not in the bottom. And so she grabbed the dentures and put them in a styrofoam cup. Okay. I didn't think of anything of it at the time, but when I came back later that afternoon, they can't find her teeth. Why? Because that lady put them in a styrofoam cup instead of the receptacle that's made for teeth. Then they wouldn't have got thrown in the trash. Do you know they tried to make my mother responsible? They tried to make her responsible. And based on my, I'm a hairstylist, so I have all kinds of different people, different jobs. And one of my friends was like, you call the ABCDEFG. You tell them that that's who you're going to tell. And I called at the hospital and I started naming all these letters that I was going to call. And real quick, fast, they found somebody to get them teeth together with. But, this young lady is going to have to kick and scream and make some noise because they're just hoping she'll go away, especially when she's saying she's not looking for financial compensation. I wish she wouldn't even have said that out loud. Hey, Elsid, I wish she wouldn't have said that out loud. I hope they seek, some type of legal representation. I'm working on things in the backyard, in the background. All right, that's okay. Sometimes the background, just scream your answers from out there in the background, girl. In the meantime, El Sizwa says for you guys to like and share and subscribe. She's very busy out here in these YouTube streets. So if you want to take a ride around the world and find out how they're dating in all these different places, then Elsie's your girl. She's also going to find out whether or not you're ready to love. That's what we all be doing over here, finding out whether y'all ready to love. Right now, we're just talking about the things that have run across my timeline. I'm going, what do you call it when you don't put no saddle on your horse? I ain't got no saddle on this horse, Elsid. I'm just riding it, just freestyling it. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, she needs a good ambulance chaser. I feel like yeah, okay. Because that's one ambulance that needs to be bareback. I'm bareback out here. Thank you, Elsid. She's here, Elsid, always for the missing pieces in my brain because my brain be skipping lines and things. Shout out to Elsid. Yeah, ambulance chaser. I just feel like that's crazy. To be turning away people, not the doctor. This is an emergency situation. Y'all need to be finding her a birthing room of some kind. Until when my daughter went and had her baby, the room was full. The hospital was full. She had made arrangements for getting induced. They were scheduling an induction and she couldn't get in. It was full. So she had to bust in and get a room. And they had to find a birthing room for her, to be able to have her baby. So she didn't get the luxurious room that comes along with, your whole scheduling your birth situation. But she did have a room that was nice. They were very attentive, and her experience was wonderful. So that's, thank God bless that baby. She has a great story. In Chicago, I got an eye on you today. Chicago, what y'all got going on over there? Y'all have a black mayor. Call him. Y'all need to see about this. Your brain skipped off today. Went out thinking today was an outing with friends, and it's really that was it. Was you ready? Did you just go ahead and do something since you were out already and all fancied up and everything? That's what I would have done. I would have been like, well, next time y'all won't, misschedule me the way you did. Oh boy, what else we got going on over here? Yeah, shout out to that lady and her husband and their beautiful brand new baby, because that's a blessing. And that's probably why she's cloudy in her mind, thinking she doesn't want any compensation. She'll sit there for a few minutes looking at that baby, and then she's gonna realize how mad she actually is. Speaking of babies and children, so y'all, Toyota has unveiled a self-driving child-sized electric vehicle, allowing children independent, safe travel. Automakers claim it's safer than the school bus. You think? Are y'all putting your kids in that? It's safer than the school bus. Let's see what they got to say about this little bubble that they want y'all to send the kids to school in. I don't think so. What's wrong with the school bus? That ain't safe either. Okay. Who's creating this thing? Would you trust this tiny Toyota? Toyota did it. To drive your kid to school? At the 2025 Japan Mobility Show, Toyota unveiled one of its most talked about concepts, the Kids Mobi, a self-driving child-sized electric vehicle designed to give kids a taste of independence. The bubble-shaped EV features a pod-like design with LED eyes, ear-shaped sensors, and a lift-up canopy that opens to reveal a single seat for children up to 4 foot 3 inches tall. Inside, an AI companion called UX Friend chats and plays with the young passengers while guiding the ride. Toyota says the concept promotes safe and secure AI-powered mobility for kids, blending playfulness with futuristic tech, while fully autonomous. The Kids Mobi still lets children participate in basic driving actions, really giving them a sense of control. Okay, Though the vehicle remains a concept, Toyota hints it's part of the AIX Robotics Data Center's long-term vision, suggesting the idea could evolve into real-world applications down the road. The automaker also showcased another child-friendly innovation, the Chibibo, a small four-legged robot designed to help kids carry their belongings and assist with short-distance deliveries like mechanical pet with a purpose. Okay. What about the love and companionship? Together, these creations hint at Toyota's vision of a future where AI, robotics, and childhood mobility come together. Safely, playfully, and maybe a little bit of adorably. Are y'all putting your kids in this thing and sending them off? I think some people will be here for it. No doubt about it. Let's see what y'all saying. Are they going to have their own lane too, like bikes? I mean, I don't know. This is very strange to me, and I feel like it's going to be a thing. Like, we've been trying to be the Jetsons for a long time. Seems like we're there. I'm all the way back. I don't know, like, how old y'all are. This is how old I am. The first episode I ever seen of Twilight Zone, or one of the first episodes I ever seen, not new Twilight Zone, original Twilight Zone. These old people was outside playing kick the can. And they went back to their childhood. I really want to go kick the can about now. I'm tired of this. I don't know, putting the babies in the AI generated bubble and sending them off to school. This is a Kardashian thing. She got a bunch of kids that she don't want to be bothered with in the first place. So she's going to buy them all a bubble and send them off somewhere. Why do y'all, this is, I believe the children are the future. Not anymore. Seems like y'all are trying to do away with children altogether. And you're going to send them to school with a robotic pet that's going to carry their things for them. What do they need to take? It should be all on a Bluetooth or some sort of thing, flash drive inside of their bubble car transportation system. What a scary world we live in. What else before I get to the things that are the things? It was a lot and then not at all, nothing at the same damn time. Okay, we got the bubble. I meant to talk about this last week. Let me see. Anything up here? We got that. We got that. Oh, let's talk about this right quick. This is sad. Department of Education's proposal aims to limit student loan access for graduate level nursing students. New proposal removes nursing from the definitions of professional degree programs. So I guess nurses are no longer going to be considered professional. That's wild. I feel like nurses do most of the work. And then the doctor comes in reading the chart and say, yeah. What does she say? You know, there are good doctors out there, but I feel like the nurses do a good bit of the work. But they're no longer going to be considered a professional, which is going to also limit their access to different grants. So then what category are they going to fall under? They just going to replace nurses with robots? Not on my ass. They won't. I don't want to see a robot when I go to the doctor's office. Don't introduce me to it. I have officially crossed over into the land of cantankerous. That's how you can, for future references, describe me as cantankerous. I don't want any parts of that. You're putting your kids in a bubble, sending them off to school. To where? To where the teachers lie to you about things that actually didn't happen or did happen in history? This education system sucks. Y'all don't want the kids to go to school. Y'all want them to go to Epstein Island. Get me the hell out of here. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. Jeez, oh, Pete. What the heck is Rhonda doing? Clicking on things. I don't even know what I did at this point. Ciao. I done clicked on something. Got me confused. Let's go to here. There we go. We need homeschool more as a community. Okay. And I'm glad you said that because I have some thoughts on that. I did homeschool my children, so I know what the experience is like. It's virtual school, but I think we need to just have our own schools. You know what I mean? That are teaching actual history. But when I became a caregiver for my mother, that was the option. And, I found interest in it. And I found you have to have the right homeschool too. I've gone through programs that I didn't like so much. It was a journey. Now there's more people who have done it. And especially after the big C happened and the whole world shut down, the schools had to become virtual. And everybody got a taste of what it's like. People are always like, oh my God, what's going to happen? How are the kids going to be socialized? They're not locked in a closet. They do get to socialize. So it's not that serious. Relax. Let me stop sharing because I don't know what happened over here. We need to do a lot as a community because the community, it's a problem over here in the community. I don't even know what to say sometimes. It's scary. I think that's crazy though. Like, so, and maybe, like I said, I don't know what the hospital dynamic is going to look like, but I know that there's something to be said about, speaking to a person with emotions. I don't just want people out here, you know, speaking out of their katukas. Okay, let's talk about this. We're talking about intelligence and education. Somebody
speaking on
educate for real.
DEI. It should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color.
This stale argument is so easy to bring up. Now that you have reaped all the benefits of affirmative action, if we were recognized for our merits, there would be at least one Black-owned Fortune 500 company.
If diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I want to focus on being the best because I can bank on it.
Nobody was banking on DEI. It was a means to an end. The problem is capital, going from enslaved to citizen. Okay, maybe I'm tripping. I mean, before the civil rights movement, Black musicians could play notes, but couldn't own their masters. Black actors could appear on screen, but only as stereotypes. Black workers could tune the instruments, but rarely run the boards. I mean, we do remember that. It was the NAACP that picketed the film studios. It was CORE and the SCLC who pressured radio stations and record labels, forced the hand of the feds, the FCC and EEOC, to threaten networks and unions with lawsuits if they did not integrate. Stay with me now. By the 1970s, music unions were desegregated. There were Black film apprenticeships. Now there were Black or urban divisions and record labels, diversity quotas in the TV writers' room, and the first wave of Black execs. So when you think about a little Black boy from Virginia Beach named Pharrell Williams meeting Teddy Riley in 1990, that was only possible because Black producers now held some power in the studios, something that didn't exist just 2 decades prior. I mean, it was affirmative action programs that normalized our presence in Hollywood. No, it's not perfect, but it created the conditions for you to move from the music industry to scoring films. Brother, you may have always been the best, but by being Black in this country, we have not always had access to the capital or the backing of the law to build our visions. We are here because of our merit. Stop questioning ourselves. We are here because we've been able to maneuver a racist system, but we don't abandon the work. And we definitely don't speak against it. Now, Mr. Minion.
Thank you so much. We don't abandon the mission. The nerve of Pharrell to sit up there and say, if DEI ever comes back in style, that is so disappointing. You think homeschooling is best for boys? I think it's great for both boys and girls. Mine was, my son went to high school, like traditional high school, and my oldest daughter went up until middle school. When she got middle school age, that's when so I was zoned for a ghetto school that I wasn't about to send her to, and that's how I got introduced to the homeschooling program. He's just fronting. I don't think so. I just don't understand. Like, I think it's so irresponsible for people like Pharrell to say stuff like that. And I also think, this is coming from somebody who stole Marvin Gaye's music and sat up there and said, I'm not comfortable, when the people were asking him about it. So what I heard somebody say the other day, I think it was Bondi, was saying how people like what's his name, Charlemagne, and I'm not, I don't know this for sure, but they like have incentive. They're incentivized to say these types of things. And I'm feeling like, Pharrell, is that what's going on here with you? Have you been incentivized to say this? Oh, Front is one of his songs. I'm sure I've heard it else said, but we know that the things, my cup is full, like Vicky Gunzelson. So things are spilling out on one side and filling in on the other side. And then, somewhere or another, there's a gap. I'm going to blame it on the trees of knowledge, but that's another story altogether. Anyway, yeah, I hated to hear him say that. And I was like, this is the thing. Like, if you're not educating your children about the truth of our history, which I think Pharrell has definitely based on the people. How do you sit with Quincy Jones and Stevie Wonder, any of those people, and come up with, if DEI comes back in style, affirmative action in style? while the government is currently trying to create zones that prohibit us from voting and child, he can't be that stupid. He cannot. He fronting all right. He's purposely obtuse to, I don't know, protect his pockets. That ain't gonna last long because you're still gonna be black. And Carolina, that's the Bible Belt. Ain't that where the slave ships came in from? Child, for real, I know you heard stories. You and Timberland out here using AI artists. Y'all just shitting on the same industry that, put you on. What else we got, child? I told you it's a lot, and we'll be going back and forth to things because some of these stories kind of interconnect with the other. So I saw this the other day, and I can't remember if I showed it to you guys, but we're gonna look at it again. These are black. They're basically walking home the kids from school. They're in the school zones and areas where the kids are getting let out from school because the time has changed, and the kids be out here walking in the dark. And it's Detroit prohibiting them from getting into trouble, probably getting them to just take their behinds home.
So moving around.
They did. It's time to organize. I think this is a good first step of organization. I think we need some more moms out there, some dads out there. Let's hold everybody accountable. Like, I'm here for it, but I'm also like, a bunch of guys walking around with no type of accountability. You know what I'm saying? Accountability coach, police. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to hold everybody. And as much as I think it's a good idea and a good start of organization, I think we definitely need some women in the program. But look at that. I think this is definitely something that should be celebrated. We have kids being snatched off the streets, ICE rolling up the neighborhoods, and they use the whole deportation as a disguise to come attack our community. So Detroit is getting on ready, and I've seen other people getting on ready. And like I said, all you can do is organize. And unfortunately, some people within the community need policing as well. Pharrell high off his Vatican performance. He's high on something. Elsid, I'm loving where you're going with this, because I personally feel like we do need our own homeschool programs. We do need our own programs, built around, I think, community. Kitchens are a good idea to teach the kids how to cook. I think agricultural, I've shared it on my timeline. I don't know. I mean, on my Instagram. I haven't shared it here. Maybe I will. But my daughter was outside the other day planting, just repotting some plants. And when I seen the baby out there with the shovel and just getting involved, it was just like one of those moments that I was like, this is what we need. We need to teach the kids agriculture. The whole reason why this world, I feel like, is going to shit. And it's not just us, because this technology is not just limited to the United States. We just saw that Japan wants to take their kids in a baby Toyota bubble and send them off to somewhere with a robot toy. That's how they're doing things over there, or their idea. And I've been to many GM, festivals, and you see all the future, what the new future cars are going to look like and all of that. And a lot of that stuff is like what we're looking at right now. So, it's an idea, it's a concept, it's something they're actively working on, because they presented it to, self-driving cars. And you think that there's not something, if people will send their kids off to boarding school and say, hey, take care of my kid until he's 18, this is nothing for them to send them in a Toyota robot car to school to go abuse teachers or be abused by them. Not all of them. I'm just saying that's the kind of nonsense that's going on here. That's why I do value homeschool. And I think there's different there's different avenues for different people. Just like Elsa's mentioned here is the community kitchens. These are things that can be scheduled. You know what I'm saying? The book work can be done at home. These are things that can be scheduled, that you can take your kid there to their, what we used to call home ec class. Boarding school and group homes are trash and abusive. I mean, I've never been to one, but anytime you send your kid off somewhere where you're not there to supervise, they're vulnerable to whoever, whatever is running that type of organization. So, yeah, I feel like for me, homeschooling my children, you get to know what they like. You get to see the nonsense that goes through. I have seen some very unacceptable, racially motivated things come through the computer system. And my daughter is pretty, she, if I'm not there, she's like, hey, did you catch that? So it gives you an opportunity to be more involved and see, and it gives you an opportunity to choose. What if your kids went to agriculture once a week? How much more beneficial would that be, for them to learn how to grow? Elsa, we talked about this before, like learning how to farm at home. This is things that have been taken away from us, all in the name of convenience, basically. How convenient. I don't have to grow my own food. I'll just eat this stuff from the grocery store, that may or may not be full of preservatives. I don't know, even if the packaging says organic. There's nothing wrong with them learning how to take care of themselves. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in an AI robot and not know how to get out. That'll be the AI robot babysitter. Here, stick your kid in the AI robot babysitter, and it comes with milk and diaper changing, and you can leave them there for 8 hours if you need to. A farmer said kids don't want to learn. Not all kids. Some kids don't. But I think that's not true for all kids. And I think I'm just going to go here since you said that. Since you said that, what do we do with these kids here? So back in Chicago, this has been going viral. This young lady that suffers from sickle cell was walking her kids home from school, and she encountered children. So this lady broke it down because the video is long and drawn out and pretty disgusting to watch, but this lady broke it down. So let's hear what she has to say.
Other school age kids. So 33-year-old other school age kids. So 33-year-old Corshonda Hatter and her kids were walking around 3 p.m. when some kids approached them. Now, it wasn't just 1 or 2 kids, y'all. I'm talking about 10 to 12, maybe even 15 children. Now, in a video that has since went viral that was recorded by one of the attackers, they are literally taunting this woman and her kids. Her kids look extremely small. And at some point, one of the kids actually slaps her son. Now her son is crying and she approaches the kids like, why did you just hit my son? So she's trying to protect her children and they start to beat on this woman. They continuously hit her kids. They pull the little girl's hair. And y'all, Corshonda is already weak because she has sickle cell anemia and she has been in and out of the hospital. So she's stumbling, but she's trying to protect her children. So after this brutal attack, Corshonda and her kids are hospitalized. And I'm guessing that one of the kids had to have uploaded this on social media because it went viral. And a lot of people wanted answers on this whole situation. So it turns out that this stemmed from her son getting bullied at Orville T. Bright Elementary. And Corshonda says that she went to the school, she reported what was going on, but nobody did anything about this situation. So I'm guessing the kids must have attacked her because she told about what was going on with her son being bullied. Now, y'all, the public, the community, they showed up, they went to their school, and y'all, they want answers. They want the kids criminally charged, and some people actually want the parents charged as well. What I thought was crazy was the fact that some of the family members, they did videos joking about the situation, but some parents did come out and apologize and say, look, this is not how I raised my child, and my child was disciplined for this entire situation happening. Now, y'all, I'm very curious as to your thoughts on this situation. Do you believe the kids and the parents need to be charged? Now, also, Corshonda has a GoFundMe because she does not feel safe. She believes that her life and her kids' life could be in danger because this has now been televised and it's everywhere. Now, you guys, comment below. Let me know your thoughts and justice for this family. Other school age.
So what y'all think? You want these kids in school with your kids? Your eldest didn't appreciate your garden until he was 19. Now he's all over your garden. Well, yeah, but I think some things like I didn't like going to math class, but I had to go. You know what I'm saying? So if I wanted to go, at least at the end, like I know how to count my money. And agriculture, I think, is not for everyone, but there's just still some knowledge that you should have of it. And I think that reading about it in a book is different than doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think gardens in schools are very important, or having an educational facility, you know, that can teach them gardening, as you know, because you got to think about how many students and that kind of thing. But you know, reading, writing, arithmetic, the basics, that can be learned online. Obviously, you can have an AI teacher to teach you math. We don't need that. We need people that are going to, you know, first of all, history is out. We need actual teachers for history. Let them have English class. When I say them, I mean the clear people. Let them teach English and grammar, since that's so important to them. And we can figure out, you know, ways to educate our kids on things that are important. You thought it was a TikTok challenge last year. Kids were breaking into people's homes. No, this young lady was walking, and she's sick with sickle cell. You could tell for a while they were saying she was pregnant. She's not pregnant. She's just, you know how when you get sick with different medications, will have your midsection swollen. So she's walking her kids home. Her son apparently had been bullied. But when I tell you, these were small children. These were middle school and elementary school children. You're talking 13 and younger, that pinned this lady against the fence. They took it down. Like, they've edited at this point. When it first came out, like I said, it was a lot to even watching those kids pin her to a fence where she couldn't do anything. She's trying to protect her children, but physically she can't. Then they start punching her, and you know, it was terrible. So here's one of the kids that was the first one apparently to punch the lady, and her mother. You know, you hear a story, and then days later, all the details start coming out. So I'll let you hear the mother first, and then you can hear the kid's apology.
I think everybody, we've all seen the video. Everybody's been sharing it. The public outcry is definitely there, and we're all on the same accord that we want. I think more so than anything, we want everybody to understand that this is a child. All of them children that was in that video was children. Some of them, not all of them, may have families, but this baby here, she has a family that cares, that loves her, that has held her accountable. She understands what is going on, and I don't expect her to speak. We do not expect her to speak as we are going to speak, because she's a child. What grade are you in, Kamara?
8th.
She's in 8th grade.
What grades do you get? A's and B's, and I was homecoming queen. I'm the captain of the cheerleading team. Your person.
We will know that this baby, as well as all the other babies that's in that video, are very much our future. So if we laughing at them, we laughing at ourselves. So we want to make sure that we check that, and that we be present, and that those people that are not on the ground, those people that are scared of our young kids, that we get out here and we touch them, that we let them know that we hear, that we got something to say, that we care about them, that they have more resources than they know, and that we are available to them. I think everybody,
Okay, Miss Mama. Yep, they're the kids. Is that our future? I hope not. And I'm looking at you like, why is your daughter doing this? I'm the homecoming queen. I get all A's. So what else is going on in her life that she wanted to go up and punch a woman who's clearly disabled? I I think the children need to face consequences, and I think the parents do too. She's sitting up here basically giving us the spiel about, how these are babies. That calling them babies is not going to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? This is why, like the young men that organized in Detroit, some of y'all need to organize over in Chicago and make sure that people are, these kids are getting to where they're supposed to be. Are you sending her to school in a Toyota bubble? Because I don't care what she's over there doing in the classroom. Whatever's going on at home is making her angry. And I know, you can never say my kid would never do that. I feel like my kids would never do that. They would be more inclined to be, because I was that way. I've never liked bullying. I've always been like, don't leave her alone. And we weren't even I did not allow my kids to say even stupid. I didn't like that. You're not going to call people stupid. You're not going to bully people. These are conversations that we had. I'm looking at the mama. Let's hear what the little girl had to say. It's just sickening. So I think there's school for everyone. Everyone don't belong in the same school. Some of the kids might just belong in a different school over there where y'all, doing that wild nonsense that they're over there doing. This is the little girl and her apology, if that's what you want to call it.
My name is Kamaya and Papi. I was wrong for
I'm not buying it. And I'm guessing you're on live.
It's okay, for everything that I did. And I was just being a follower, following everybody who don't even get.
I just want to stop her right there. She said she was just being a follower, meaning it wasn't me. And I know I saw somebody punch that lady, and the internet said it's her, that she was the one that went over and swung on this lady. So, and when I tell you the lady was like sliding down the fence, literally, to get away from these, children. But she said she was a follower. So I'm not going to take any accountability for what I did, because it wasn't my fault. I was just following the rest of these children.
Following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got.
She following everybody who don't even got nothing that she got. So I'm guessing that her mother, that, that's probably how that went. You got all this and I'm buying you this. And then they be naming all these labels and things and Nikes, Adidas, and da-da-da-da. And these kids don't have what you have.
And I apologize for everything, because I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I feel bad because I gotta go through so much. I wish I would never deal with what I did.
Children that was in that video was children. Some of them, not all of them, may have families, but this baby here, she has a family that cares, that loves her, that has held her accountable. She understands what is going on, and I don't expect her to speak. We do not expect her to speak as we are going to speak, because she's a child.
So that's just the other angle of whatever she's saying over there. This child and the rest of them, her mama shouldn't have even brought herself on the internet, to be honest, because I feel like it definitely didn't make it any better. It seems like we're trying to draw sympathy for this little girl, because I don't have any. Maybe just a little. You know what I'm saying? Because what is happening in her household that make her want to do that? Then you have to look at the mother. A lot of people were saying that the parents need to have charges pressed against them. Maybe something needs to be done, because this is not okay. And what goes on? What happens after this? What happens? She sits up there and she cries because she's just a follower, and she's not, they don't even have the things that she has. That's not accountability. And so Yeah, what do we do with these children? Because I personally wouldn't want them at my school. And I, as a teacher, I wouldn't want to be dealing with those kind of kids. Imagine. That's why homeschool, I think, is also a good option, because it puts the responsibility on the parent. You are responsible for making sure your child completes these assignments. And if they don't, then they're going to fail. And if they don't know how to act, agriculture and, any of the fun stuff, home ec, where they learn how to cook, any of the stuff outside of the classroom that takes place, they can't come over here because they don't know how to act. And you're going to have to figure out on your own, like how to teach your kids agriculture and things of that nature. It's so sad. It's so sad. We doing good things on one hand, and then on the other hand, you got somebody out here in the background, trying to sabotage the good work. What else did I see over here that I wanted to get into? I thought this was a very, before we leave education, because, I want to talk about some fun stuff too, but I ran across this lady. So as far as educating your children,
teaming up with far-right groups like Hillsdale College, the Heritage Foundation, and Turning Point USA to create a patriotic civics curriculum that will then be forced in public schools. I want to be very clear. They are creating propaganda for youth that will lie about the history of the United States to align with the Christian nationalist ideas of American exceptionalism and white supremacy. There has never been a more important time than now that you have hard copies of comprehensive history in your house. And I happen to have some recommendations. We're going to start with Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States. This also comes in a youth version. Be talking to your kids about what actually happened in our nation. Tell them the truth. A True History of the United States by Daniel Jerson, which really focuses on indigenous relations, slavery, as well as how we militarized capitalism and imperialism. Let's talk about The Humanity Archive by Jermaine Fowler, recovering the Black history in the United States that's been largely removed. The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein, which talks about how the U.S. government has intentionally institutionalized systemic racism to create segregation. The 1619 Project will change your perspective on how central slavery is to the narrative of the United States, not something to be glossed over. The most comprehensive book I have ever read on America's history of separation of church and state that is more than ever so important right now by Richard Balmer. If you want to know the history of Christian nationalists, The Power Worshippers by Catherine Stewart. We're going to address the Christian nationalist myth of this being a Christian nation, the founding myth by Andrew Seidel. And then the history of the family, also known as the Fellowship, who run the National Prayer Breakfast and are the reason that we are here where we are now. There is also a documentary on Netflix, and The Longest Con by Joe Conason, covering the history of corruption on the right, following all the way from Joseph McCarthy until now. Follow the money. Make sure you have a copy of these books in your home. Talk to your kids about these topics. Build a library. Share a library with people you know, because education is our most powerful weapon. The Trump administration.
I feel like I'm going to have every last one of those books in my library. Like she said, build a library. Remember back in the day, we used to have encyclopedias and all kinds of, other books. Also, the fact that she was a white woman, I'm going to say it just like that. We can't be the only ones that are educating our children. They have to educate their children too. So that, that's the only way to combat racism. Because if we're always on this us and them, clearly we got Black politicians out there thinking they are them. So, the idea of community has to look different. The revolution has to look different. Does she have a list of the books? I will make sure the list is in the description box. That way, we all have it, because I'm definitely I didn't click on it, but like I said, I'll make sure it's here. I'll add it to the description so we can go ahead and, my children are at that age where we can have these conversations. I was thinking maybe we could even do book club here in my household. Just pick a book and then we can discuss it. And it doesn't have to be a long drawn out sit down. It could be, in the way they work. Shoot them a text and ask them a question. Just have the conversation going. I need to rewatch this video for the books. Like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description, Motown Investor. While I was over there, when she had this list of books, and I told you we on the blackout this holiday season, so I came across this list. I love, the Buy Black website. What do you call it? Directory. These are books and media, and there's like I said, it's the Black Amazon, it's the Black alternative to Amazon. There's all these other books here that you could take your time and browse through. These are like reasonably priced. A lot of them are on audio. I like the hard cover books to read just in my spare time if I can. Yeah, these are all really reasonable. So if you're looking for Christmas presents that, are going to help educate somebody, like make the gift matter and make it last longer than, whatever fun stuff is out there. People can buy that stuff for themselves. But yeah, I'm going to just keep talking about other ways to spend our money as it relates to the conversation. But build a library. That's such a great idea. We need to start. Also, not just build a library. This is something that my niece T has said a long time ago. Take pictures. She said, if we don't start taking pictures, and she said this probably 15 years ago to me, if we don't start taking pictures, we won't know who anybody is. And that is so true. Like, we can literally erase ourselves based on the fact that all of our pictures are on the phone. All of our memories are somewhere where, if the government shut this thing down, what you gonna do? You have nothing left. You can't get a hold of it. TikTok went away and everybody was like, oh my God, my videos is gone. So yeah, take pictures. You print them out, have physical pictures. I think one of the most fun things that we do around here during the holiday time usually is get a photo album and start organizing some of the pictures. I have boxes of pictures from way back in the day. So, let's kick the can, y'all. Some of this stuff we got to go back to because it's getting lost in, whatever we got going on. Let's talk about this before I forget, y'all. These people, the Osefos, it's in the news. With all these, Potomac came over here pretending like they were all poised and, manners. And look at them over here all with mugshots and things. They bad as Huntsville. So this came out today, days after Wendy Osefo told the Real Housewives of Potomac fans that she and her husband, Eddie Osefo, were remaining in good spirits following their fraud arrest. More damning news has surfaced. Prosecutors have shared additional information about the reality TV couple in court documents, claiming they were not only in substantial debt, but that they also had a pattern of excessive spending. I mean, that's debatable, but it seems like, based on the way the show was racking up them, calculating them renovation expenses that didn't make sense. But anyway, girl. Wendy and Eddie Osefo were initially arrested in October 2025 and accused of staging a fake burglary for insurance money. I saw Vicky Gumbelson over there on Carlos King, and she said when people be having these insurance claims, it be for like a watch or a ring, one or two things. These people have 42 things. They so stupid. They didn't realize they scam was sending off alert straight from the gate. According to a report from the Baltimore Banner, prosecutors are seeking financial records from Wendy and Eddie to show the Bravo vets have a pattern of excessive spending and to support motive in their criminal fraud case. Prosecutors claim that Wendy and Eddie, a former college professor and lawyer, he's not a former lawyer? He about to be, I guess. Respectively, are burdened by substantial debt. The people said these people are in debt. And they found approximately 40 credit and or debit cards from which are some of which are believed to be in company names, allegedly belonging to the married couple during their investigation. 40 cards. How do you keep up with all of that? That don't even make no types of sense. And if you have those, it doesn't make sense. How are you even keeping track? Clearly they weren't. They look good, child. What a shame. The shocking allegations don't stop there, though. Excuse me. The shocking allegations don't stop there, though. Also in the Banner recent report, Maryland prosecutors have accused Wendy and Eddie of using aliases, including Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy, to conceal their identities. Eddie Hennessy, that sounds stupid. Pam Oliver, do y'all remember Pam Oliver? That's the big forehead lady. that does the sports commentating. Is she in the Maryland area, or where did she get that from? Prosecutors are also accused Wendy of lying about using online banking services such as PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App to pay for certain items. Ciao. On top of all the debit and credit cards and the alias names, the PayPal, the Venmo, the Cash App, the state anticipates seeing purchases as if they still had the jewelry and all the evidence in their house. They are not keeping track of what they're spending on credit cards, debit cards, PayPals, Venmos. Eddie Hennessy and Eddie Osefo and Pam Oliver and Wendy. Oh, child. It's giving Nigerian scammer. I hate to be generalizing, but hey, that's what these people seem to be doing over here. The state anticipates seeing purchases as well as returns on financial records. They wrote, additionally, the state expects such documentation to show a pattern of excessive spending supporting the motive in this case. The state avers that insurance fraud is a financial crime and that the amount of debt owed by the Osefos jointly, individually, by the businesses that they own is highly relevant to their motive. Now they're about to get all the way up in your Cash App Venmo business. Ciao. According to the previous reports from the blast, Wendy and Eddie are slapped with several felony fraud charges, including insurance fraud, conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and making a false statement to a police officer. Following the arrest, Wendy stepped down from her position as a visiting professor at Wesleyan University. Eddie, on the other hand, could also face professional scrutiny as a licensed attorney. People say he wasn't practicing. He was over there practicing how to be happy with his cannabis collection. Most states, including DC, do institute discipline for attorneys convicted of fraud or other crimes of moral turpitude. I figured. Typically, they wait until resolution of the criminal case. But the extreme case may ask the criminal court to make not practicing law a condition of bond. Sam Bissett says, a Texas criminal defense attorney said. I mean, he can't be that good when he wouldn't be making these types of decisions. So maybe he, can become president, child. Wendy was over there, BravoCon. I'm not going to play that, but I'll tell you what she said. The Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo made her first public appearance following her fraud arrest at BravoCon 2025. She opened up about the allegations on the panel alongside her RHOP castmates Giselle Bryant, Ashley Darby, Tia Glover, and others. Dr. Wendy thanked fans for the love, saying she's been reading all the supportive messages and appreciates everyone who has reached out to my family during this time. She called the arrest an unfortunate situation, and couldn't say much but clarified, I will share my story with everyone, and for now, they're just allegations, so we continue to push forward. That's what she said over there at BravoCon. And you know what? Ashley was over there trying to apologize. Ashley. We don't want to hear it. Ashley was trying to apologize, and Wendy says she wasn't trying to hear it. That's pretty much it in a nutshell, Then you got this one here. Ciao. That's all I'm going to show you of that. So Mia was down to the airport and they took her to jail. Wendy and Eddie aren't the only Real Housewives of Potomac stars dealing with legal issues. Late this year, according to previous reports from the blast, former RHLP star Mia Thornton was arrested and charged with larceny in, in November 2025. Legal documents revealed that Thornton's former condo management company alleged that the reality star and a man named Jared McGriff, is that little bitty DJ man Ace? Jared McGriff suddenly moved out of their unit in Atlanta, Georgia. Why would they put a comma right there? That's weird. And took $11,000 worth of furniture and electronics. You stupid as Wendy. Thornton was taken into custody at Hartsville Jackson Airport. They must have pressed charges, and she had a warrant out on that ass, and then they got hemmed up at the airport. I remember I took my daughter to the courthouse for getting her license. While she was sitting down there, her license was suspended. She had to pay to get her license back. And they carted this little teeny girl off in some handcuffs. So she went up to that counter and they had a warrant, and the people came and got her. I guess she didn't know she had a warrant. Had she known that, she would have took a happy ass up into that courthouse. But anyway, Thornton was a cast member on the long-running reality series from season 6 to season 9 before announcing her departure. Well, this is not the smartest way to handle a dispute. What's this girl? Mia. I'm over reality TV right now. It's getting played out for sure. Did you watch Reasonable Doubt? If you didn't, you should. It's on Hulu. There's others programming out there, to get away from some of what we over here doing. If you have a financial dispute with the landlord, I think the best thing you should do is handle it in court. Otherwise, you're going to end up somewhere down to the courthouse in fisticuffs. Crazy girl. Wendy and them, it just gets more and more disappointing every day. I can't keep track of 40 credit cards. That sounds a fool. You looking for some mess to get into. I thought this was fun. Let's talk about this lady. No, not Wendy. What's her name? Mia. So what would you do if this happened to you? So what would you do in this situation? Would you go ahead and send the gift? Yes, Force is also good too. I gotta, catch up on Force. I know it just came back. So what would you do in this scenario? I feel like if it were me, I would not send a gift. I would return the email and say, I didn't know you before your wedding. I don't know you now. And based on this inappropriate and rude email, do not look for a gift from me. I'm going to return it, for goodness sakes. You don't get a gift from me. And with that, what the hell? Like, you invite people to things. I thought you invited people to things because you want them to celebrate with you. Yes, you have a registry or whatever. You appreciate the things that you do get. And for the rest, you just want the people to come celebrate with you. I don't know you. I don't know why these people went through so much trouble. This must have been her husband thing. So I would put it back in his hands. I would be like, lady, I don't know you. Reach out to him and let him handle it. Let him decide. I think I went to the store with it. What would y'all do? Did I cover all the things? Let me see before I get out of here. We've been here, just over an hour. That was a lot. There's some other stuff on here I wanted to talk about, but I think I'll save it for another time. Let's see what else we got. I could say this before we leave. Ashley released her version of Killing Me Softly. So she should be arrested for that. Oh my God. I think that's it. I'm going to leave y'all with this.
Black people did. Before the Moors arrived, Europe was funky. No soap, no plumbing, no hygiene, just layers of perfume and denial. They believed washing made you sick, so they skipped the bath and called it medicine. It was the Dark Ages for a reason. Then in 711 AD, everything changed. The Moors, black African Muslims, swept into Spain and brought light, science, and cleanliness with them. They built aqueducts, public bathhouses, and running water. They introduced libraries, streetlights, surgical tools, even toothpaste. While Europe was tossing waste out the window and wondering why plagues kept showing up, the Moors were studying astronomy and perfecting architecture. But history flipped the script. They erased the teachers and painted the students as the civilized ones. The truth? They wash their hands today because Africa showed them how. Who really taught Europe how to bathe? Black people did. Before the Moors arrived, Europe was funky. No soap, no plumbing, no hygiene, just layers of perfume and denial. They believed washing made you sick, so they skipped the bath and called it medicine. It was the Dark Ages for a reason. Then in 711 AD, everything changed. The Moors, black African Muslims, swept into Spain and brought light, science, and cleanliness with them. They built aqueducts, public bathhouses, and running water. They introduced libraries, streetlights, surgical tools, even toothpaste. While Europe was tossing waste out the window and wondering why plagues kept showing up, the Moors were studying astronomy and perfecting architecture. But history flipped the script. They erased the teachers and painted the students as the civilized ones.
So, I feel like that's such a wonderful way to stop. Aqueducts are still working to this day. Yes. And so you're welcome. You're welcome for the cleanliness and helping us. Don't forget the books in the link. I got you. I will not forget the books in the link. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. This was a cool chat. I try to keep my ear to the streets and see what's going on. And, hopefully y'all will let me know what's going on and we can do this thing together. You bring 2 friends. I'll bring 2 friends. Everybody like the video and subscribe to the channel. We can do this every weekend. All right. Bye, y'all.